Tonight, we're live on the West Coast, where weekend rain and warm temperatures have wreaked havoc on Marble Mountain.
Staff here say that they have taken nearly 600 tons of earth and fill from the bottom of Marble Mountain since this flood over the weekend.
Right now it's leveled off with our chairs, so we wouldn't be able to operate.
But they may still have a ski season yet. I'll have that story tonight on Here and Now.
The wait list for heart surgery now is as long as it was last fall. But health officials say it's good news that it hasn't grown even longer.
We've been able to hold the line. Those numbers are not the highest they've been. They're better than what they've been, even though we haven't sent anyone out.
I'll have more later in the show.
There hasn't been much of this in the 8 years this guy's been in politics. But that's about to change. I'm Terry Roberts. We'll have that story coming up.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. We begin tonight on the West Coast, where a massive washout at Marble Mountain has created a big mess. Crews at the ski hill have been busy repairing the damage from yesterday's flood. Here and Now's Colleen Connors is live from Steady Brook tonight. So Colleen, how's it looking there today?
Well, Carolyn, this would have been a perfect day to go skiing. Sunny weather, cool temperatures, but instead crews here were busy cleaning up this mud, this sludge for the past 24 hours that came down one of the slopes, Musgrave, here at Marble Mountain. But I have to say that cleanup efforts are well underway to getting this place back up and operating. Have a look. Mounds and mounds of rock, earth, mud have turned the base of Marble Mountain and the parking lot into a pool. Today's job, scooping it up and taking it out of here. Load after load of fill, brought down by weekend rain and warm temperatures.
Between me and the crowd that I got here with us, we're estimating anywhere from about 400 to 600 tons of sand and rock.
Yep, hundreds of tons poured down the hill. The goal now is to level out this giant hole so it looks similar to what it was before. Patton has been here since it started. Heavy rain and warm temperatures caused a massive river to cascade down the ski slope. Staff here knew rain was coming, clearing catch basins and culverts, but the water shifted and caused this massive mess.
Looking up the mountain there, we were blown away Sunday morning to see the devastation that occurred.
Now that the sun is shining and the temperature is brisk, Wells can start assessing the damage. While some chairs were buried in the mud, he doesn't think the integrity of the towers or the lift itself is compromised. Marble Mountain experienced major flood damage in January 2018, when culverts overflowed with rainwater and melted snow. But this year, the man-made snow has held up, and it's helping rebuild fast.
Because it holds up a lot better than compared to powder or just your regular ungroomed terrain, it just runs right off. The water basically, again, acts as a safety barrier. So what they're doing up there today is manicuring the 1.5 feet of snow as best they can, scraping away about 6 inches every time, and then, depositing that whatever snow they can take into those holes, those problematic areas.
Wells is calling this mess nothing but a setback, with plans to open later this week. Now, the slope Musgrave is a bit more of an advance run, and it may not open anytime soon. But Wells says that the hill could open as early as Friday, and a lot of that has to do with that man-made snow. However, we are expecting some mild temperatures this week, some more rain, I hear, Ashley. But the crew here tell me that ideally they need 15 to 20 centimeters of snow for ideal snow conditions, for skiing conditions. So do you think they're going to get that anytime soon?
It's not looking good, Colleen, unfortunately. With that warm up on the way over the next couple of days, we do have a bit of a cool down coming eventually. But yeah, we have to get through some of that warm air to begin with. So how much rain are we talking about? What fell this weekend? Significant amounts of rain on the West Coast between Corner Brook and Steady Brook, somewhere between 48 to 52 millimeters of rain fell in a very short period of time. And that combined with the rain of the the warmer temperatures rather is why we're seeing that mess. Now, St. Albans on the south coast picked up about 30 millimeters of rain, and the most was recorded in Daniels Harbor at 64.9 millimeters. So today, much different story with those cooler temperatures out there. We do have some really cold air moving in that will eventually move in as we head into the middle of next week. But we've got this big ridge in the jet stream coming as we head into Wednesday and even into Thursday. And if we take a look at the temperature forecast, for the West Coast, back into the single digits above zero. By the time we get into Friday and Saturday, though, dropping back down, this is when we could see some snow. Is it going to be 15 centimeters? Not likely, but we'll get into the forecast coming up.
Wabush is a hot spot this week, not weather-wise, but all the provinces, a lot of politicians, iron ore executives, and a number of people have gathered here at the Wabush Hotel for a summit on the future of Labrador West. I'm live in Wabush, and I'll have more details coming up.
The Association of Allied Health Professionals ratified an agreement with the province. 88% of the members voted in favor of the collective agreement on Friday. It includes a 4-year contract.
We feel that we're on a great road to.
Well, it includes a 4-year contract with a yearly wage increase of 2%, plus reimbursements for meals and business travel, as well as additional paid leave. The association represents about 800 healthcare workers, including social workers, pharmacists, and physiotherapists. President Gordon Piercy says the agreement will help with recruitment and retention.
We feel that we're on a great road to get the members to where they need to be. And some other supports and pieces that are going to be part of the contract too, that's also going to address things like workload and workplace culture, some pieces around that as well. So all in all, it's a contract that it certainly doesn't fix everything, but it does provide something to everyone in the membership.
Well, the number of people in the province waiting for heart surgery hasn't changed in months, but health officials say that doesn't mean cardiac care isn't improving. Here now's Mark Quinn explains.
The province's chief of cardiac care says there are close to 200 people waiting for surgery like this.
So our wait list for surgery, for cardiac surgery, open heart surgery, is, I would say that it fluctuates daily, but 189, 195 is where our numbers are right now.
That hasn't changed much since last fall, when 195 patients were waiting for surgery. But Connors said that number doesn't tell the whole story. Since last November, the province has increased the number of heart surgeries done here weekly by 40%, from 9 to 14. But still, the number of people waiting for surgery has remained constant, and here's why. Last year, this province sent 50 patients to Ottawa for heart surgery. But now that Newfoundland and Labrador has secured 5 of its own heart surgeons, we've stopped sending patients away for surgery.
As we build and we support our heart teams here in this province, we've been able to not send those people to Ottawa and maintain our wait lists. They haven't skyrocketed.
Connors says transporting heart patients to Ottawa is still an option if necessary, but he said many patients would prefer to be treated here at home.
When we send people away, it's not ideal. Like, if we phone people, and about half the people we contact, they say, I'm happy to have my surgery here, but being sent up there, I don't have many supports. It's a funny, it's an unusual place. It's not don't have a lot of comfortable environment there. So the reality is, when you go to people, a lot of them don't want to go. And so it's a solution when you have no other solutions. But when building our own teams at home and using the resources it takes to send people away and investing them here at home to grow our program to be self-sufficient is the goal.
Connors says care for heart patients is improving and will continue to do so as the province moves towards the establishment of the Cardiovascular and Stroke Institute announced last February.
We want to transform cardiovascular and stroke care, and we know what's going to happen in Newfoundland.
Exciting, game-changing stuff.
That institute is still in its planning stages, and health officials say there are still no details about where it will be built or when it will open its doors. Last fall, Dr. Connors said he'd like to see it start seeing patients within the next 5 years. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, another shakeup for the provincial legislature. Veteran Liberal MHA Brian Warr announced today that he's returning to the private sector, back to his roots in building and hardware supplies. Here now, Terry Roberts has more on the surprise move.
Very few saw this coming. Bayvert Green Bay MHA Brian Warr was in his office today, packing away more than 8 years of political memories as he prepares to leave public life. Warr will work his last day as an MHA on Friday. On Monday, he'll start a new job as a business manager for a chain of building supply stores.
I'm really happy with the decision I made.
A desire to spend more time with his family was a driving force for the decision, he says. After 3 election victories, including a pandemic vote in 2021 that resulted in electoral chaos, Warr said his wife Judy laid down the law.
She just sort of looked at me one day and said, no more elections, you're done.
Building and hardware supplies have sustained the Warr family of Springdale for 4 generations. So when he learned of an opportunity with the Castle brand a few weeks ago, he leapt at the opportunity.
I did out a resume for the first time in my life.
News of Warr's surprise announcement spread quickly this morning through the halls of Confederation Building. Even opposition politicians were singing his praises, describing him as collaborative, positive, a hard worker.
He really cares about his constituents and about the work that he does. And so he will be missed, I wish him well and his family as well.
Warr was elected in 2015 and 2019 as part of Dwight Ball's team. He returned for a 3rd time in 2021 under the leadership of Andrew Furey. He was education minister when the COVID pandemic was sending shockwaves around the globe. He also had a stint as the Minister of Children, Seniors and Social Development. He was not invited into Furey's cabinet, but took on a variety of committee and caucus roles, and departs as the Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly.
It's a lot of work, but I've enjoyed every minute of it, but it's time. It's time now.
Warr's resignation is just the latest political disturbance in the province and will require the governing Liberals to hold another by-election in the coming weeks. Last month, Liberal candidate Fred Hutton won a by-election in Conception Bay East, Bell Island. Parties are also lining up candidates for an upcoming by-election in Fogo Island, Cape Friels, to replace MHA Derek Bragg, who died late last month. As for Brian Warr, the cut and thrust of politics will soon be in his rear-view mirror, so he hopes he'll have more time to use these dust-covered golf clubs. Terry Roberts, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, St. John's City Councillor Debbie Hanlon has stepped away from council duties to deal with health issues. A post on Hanlon's Facebook page this morning says she's been diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer. The post says her symptoms came on suddenly and Hanlon will be in hospital for the immediate future to receive treatment. She'll be putting her council duties on hold while in hospital. The former chief of Mi'apukak First Nation is moving into a new role. Mizel Joe is joining senior leadership with World Energy GH2 and Horizon Marine. GH2 is made up of 4 partnering companies and has proposed hundreds of windmills on the West Coast. Now, beginning today, Joe will serve as its strategic advisor and will also become a board director with Horizon Marine. In a statement, Joe says he's passionate about economic reconciliation for Mi'kmaq people in this province and looks forward to contributing to what he calls these important local companies. Well, now to Labrador West, where politicians, iron ore executives, and community leaders are gathering this week. The 3-day event is bringing together leaders in a number of fields for presentations and roundtable discussions. The goal, they say, is to ensure a bright future for the 2 mining communities. Here now's Jeremy Eaton is in Wabush tonight and joins us live. So, Jeremy, how did today go?
Well, I'm standing in front of the Wabush Hotel that you can see here behind us across the street. It's the largest in the 2 communities of Labrador City, and Wabush has the largest sort of ballroom dining area, so that's why they held it here. and it was literally overflowing with people. It was a who's who of politicians. You had them from the federal level, provincial level, municipal leaders were all here. They were sort of talking, healthcare leaders in healthcare were here. They had housing representatives. They had a bunch of mining executives from IOC, Takora, and even Nalcor had sent up some people here. So it was basically every one of the stakeholders involved in what happens up here and every aspect of life has gathered here in Wabash for this 3-day summit on the future of Labrador West. Now, Labrador West is facing a number of issues, housing being one, healthcare being another, the future of the mining sector being a third, just to name a few. So the local Chamber of Commerce, the Labrador West Chamber of Commerce, wanted to hold this, and they invited a number of people to attend 3 days of sessions, meetings, and talks to try to come up with maybe some solutions to some of those problems. So earlier today, I spoke with the president of the Labrador West Chamber of Commerce, Toby Leon, and also the gentleman who gave the keynote speech, which was Premier Andrew Furey. So take a listen to what they had to say.
Presently, I don't think you could mine 1 more pound of iron ore in this community. Neither of the mines are working to nameplate. There's a significant opportunity for the province to, as you saw this morning from the economic study, see another $500 million a year in revenue for the province. But you can't do 1 more pound of that without solving these problems.
Here in Labrador, you have high purity product. You have adjacency of hydroelectric capacity with untapped potential of wind. That is a formula that doesn't really exist anywhere else, to this extent in the world. An incredible deposit, very pure, and adjacency of green renewable energy with access to a deep sea port and therefore markets around the world. It is an incredible asset, incredible series of assets, an incredible opportunity for the people of Lab West and by extension the people of the province. Lab West should, given the pressures of ESG and the corporate boardrooms around the world, really see an incredible boom here in the next few years.
So obviously, as the Premier just said, the product is here. They have a great product to offer and sell to the rest of the world, which makes a lot of money for our local economy. But as Toby Leon said, they need to figure out housing. Housing is more expensive here to build than it would be in, say, St. John's. There's bigger issues here that are a little bit harder given the remoteness of this area. Healthcare, finding doctors has always been a problem, even back to when I lived here back in 2010, 2011. And obviously the future of the mining industry, they've been on the go for about 70 years here, and they're just curious to see how much life they have left, which is apparently a lot. So the hope is over the next 3 days, 2 days, actually, as the first day has sort of come to an end, that they can try to find some solution to these problems, or at least start the dialogue and discussion, which certainly has happened today. Now, we didn't just travel out here for this summit, which we will be covering over the next 3 days, but my colleague Alex Kennedy and I are in Labrador West for Cane's Quest, which was shut down last year, but it's back on again this year. So tune in to Here and Now and check out our website, cbc.ca/NL, and follow along with the coverage of this event here in Wabash over the next couple of days, and especially Cane's Quest as we make our way into the start on Sunday. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Jeremy Eaton in Wabash.
The city of Mount Pearl is hoping that millions in federal funding will speed up the construction of new housing in the community. In a news conference early today, the city and federal government announced that Mount Pearl is getting $6.1 million. That money is coming from the $4 billion Housing Accelerator Fund, which aims to build 180 new housing units over the next 3 years. While Mayor Dave Aker didn't have any specifics on what types of housing are in the works, he said the funding is needed to respond to the needs of a changing demographic.
We're seeing a lot of people now are lining up. They want to have homes closer to mass transit, public transportation. Newcomers are coming to our city as well as to our country, and they don't necessarily do the things the way that they didn't live exactly the way we have in the past, right? Our seniors are getting older. They want to downsize. We're looking for housing options for families and the like. So some of the reconsideration here through the processes in the municipal plan review, that will result at the end of the day in a new assessment of what the city needs for its housing stock, and then we'll line up with developers.
Well, in other news, Ukrainians in the province say it's important to keep speaking out about the ongoing war in their home country. A somber anniversary was marked over the weekend. February 24th marked 2 years since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Hundreds gathered at the Basilica in St. John's for a memorial service.
It's really a bad day. Like, it's a day when you don't want to get up. And I have a birthday 21st of February and I don't celebrate it. I think we all just want to not to go home because we have like our home is here and there, but we want to see our friends, to see our families. We are really grateful for support that we have here. Like, as you see, there were a lot of people. We received a lot of hugs, supports, everybody who says, like, hold on, how are you? And it's really warm. It warms me, and I'm pretty sure it warms everyone here.
It's a really important time where you have to be able to find a spot to honor those and to think of those who have passed. And if you can do that in a community, all the better. I think that's really important. And obviously it's on a sad day for a sad event, but that's really important to have. You can't not have that, right? You can't skip over that.
In Ukraine we have a common phrase that evil is being done by closed doors. So if you're silent about that, if you don't tell what has happened in Ukraine, what is going on in Ukraine right now, then Russia can continue to do that. We just need to speak as much as we can, to say as much as you can about Ukraine, and to maybe it's hard for us to be here right now. Maybe we all want to like cover our heads and just survive this day. But it's important for us to show that we are still here. We are Ukrainians. We are from Ukraine. There is a war in our country, and Russia is the aggressor.
Teamwork is key for athletes competing in the Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games, but when your team comes from all over the province, that could create a hurdle. Here at Now's Troy Turner has a story about one group beating the odds.
Ahead of today's badminton finals, these athletes from all corners of the province make up Team Indigenous. And for them, it's about more than just the medals.
I mean, yes, we want to do well, yes, we want to compete, but that's what a lot of sport is. It's about building relationships and positive experiences. So that's one of the things we emphasize in our culture.
And a common culture is what connects these athletes, regardless of hometown. It was a rocky start with accommodations. Some athletes were without cots for the first night, but sleeping arrangements were sorted out by the second day of the games. Now, it's all about the competition, camaraderie, and representation.
It's pretty important, and it's proud to be a part of Team Indigenous, because we didn't have a team before until a couple of years ago.
The players came into the competition with different levels of experience and success, but they all worked together, recognizing how important team spirit is.
It's something that I love to do, and it's something that I get to make new friends and connect with old ones.
We've gotten together and just got to know each other, and now we're just playing together with each other over friendship and just having a great time playing the sport.
We don't put the emphasis as much on are they coming home with a medal or not. I know that's one of the things that excites parents, and yes, we're very proud of the athletes that do, but the big thing with us is, are you coming here giving us your best? Are you doing what you have? Are you expressing yourself as best you can? Are you putting your best foot forward?
While it's the competition that brought these members of Team Indigenous together, it's the friendships, they say, that will keep them coming back for more and hopefully compete as teammates again in the future. Troy Turner, CBC News, Gander.
And we will have more from the Winter Games. We'll take you to the opening ceremony ahead. We'll have some sights and sounds from Saturday night's event, including athletes, music, and dance.
Well, the Winter Games may have started, but it is going to feel very spring-like for the middle of the week. There is a cool down coming, though. I'll get into all that when I come back.
Well, Ashley, that snow today was just relentless. Once it started, it just did not stop.
Yeah, it started earlier today. A thin band moved through, and then it just got heavier as the day went on. If we take a look at some of the snowfall totals, this was as of 5:30. We should, in a couple of minutes, get the latest observations. But so far, anywhere between 8 to as much as 11 centimeters of snow has been reported across the metro area. So quite a bit. The reason for all this snow is, in fact, that area of low pressure offshore. It was expected to move further east, but it moved further west and brought all that snow to the Avalon this afternoon. The other thing, the reason why we're seeing so much snow is it's very fluffy. So the good news is that it'll be easy to remove over the next couple of hours if you haven't done so already. Now, we've got some milder air on tap as well over the next couple of days, which will help get rid of most of this snow. But if you take a look at the current satellite and radar, it is slowly ending and should end as we head through the next couple of hours. But our temperatures this evening, sitting around -4 in St. John's with a wind chill feeling more like -8. We have temperatures below 0 all across the island and up across Labrador as well, but relatively mild, -3 in Happy Valley Goose Bay at the moment with that wind chill feeling more like -8. So if we take a look at what's going to happen with the future tracker, we should, like I said, see that snow end over the next couple of hours for the Avalon, but we do have lots of flurry activity happening up across Labrador. That will generally continue. And then watch this band move in through the overnight period into central as well, which will likely bring a quick couple of centimeters, and that's going to head towards the Avalon yet again tomorrow morning. So if you're leaving the house tomorrow morning, you may have to brush off the car because you may see a couple more centimeters through the morning. There's your temperatures tonight. They are going to drop into the minus single digits, light winds generally. Low-lying areas through central, though, may see those temperatures dip a little bit cooler. And the coldest temperatures will be in Lab City tonight at -26. So quite a significant drop from where you're sitting now. And that will stick around for a little bit at least. So our snowfall accumulations by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon will generally be a trace to 2 centimeters, but on the west coast, especially in those higher elevations, you may pick up a little bit more than that. And again, because those temperatures are going to be a tad cool. So future trackers showing that snow again moving fairly quickly through the day, through the morning hours anyway. And as we head into the afternoon, we should actually see some sun peek out, especially through central and then areas east as well. But continue to see those onshore flurries for a good chunk of the day tomorrow. For the west coast, you'll see your clearing late day. And Labrador, you will eventually see some more snow develop through the overnight on Tuesday night and into Wednesday, early Wednesday. And that will head towards central and coastal areas as we get into the early morning hours on Wednesday. And this is when that warm up comes. So it is going to bring the potential for some showers through the day on Wednesday, pretty much across the island, which may get a little bit heavy, not nearly as heavy as the weekend, but we may see some of those heavier showers as we head into the afternoon hours. So tomorrow's temperatures will hover around 2, maybe 3 degrees through the day, again with a few peaks of sun in the mix. Your flurries will be early in the day. Winds will be out of the west around 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. As you head through central, this is where the best chance of that sunshine will be, with temperatures anywhere from 1 to about 3 degrees through the afternoon. And then the west coast, you'll hover near or just below 0. Winds generally light around 20 kilometers per hour at the most. And again, that potential for flurries. Higher elevations, likely where we'll pick up the accumulation. St. Anthony hovering around -1 tomorrow. Winds towards coastal areas of Labrador will be out of the west around 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. But again, generally mild, considering where you should be sitting this time of year. You're going to sit around -2 in Happy Valley Goose Bay. Lab City will hover around -8. And then Nain will be the coldest at about -13. So we are looking at temperatures right across the province warming up to above 0. In fact, some areas across Labrador could be seeing your temperatures about 20 degrees warmer than they should be for this time of year, but they are going to fall off a cliff as we get towards the end of the week. I'll get into all of that in the long range forecast.
Great, thanks, Ashley. Well, let's return now to the Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games in Gander. Today was day 2 of competitions for athletes from across the province. Those games officially kicked off with a big opening ceremony on Saturday night. Have a look.
The 2024 Newfoundland and Labrador Winter Games officially open!
You know, it's really unnerving, you know, still wanting to access fertility treatments that like what the future could hold.
A landmark court ruling in Alabama that says embryos are children has forced some fertility clinics in that state to pause treatments. We'll speak with an advocate about why this case is concerning for those providing and availing of fertility services, even here in Canada. Alabama's Supreme Court has ruled that frozen embryos can be considered children legally. Now, this ruling could have implications for fertility treatments and the freezing of embryos in that state. But could this court decision have a ripple effect in this country? This ruling comes from a wrongful death case. Frozen embryos were destroyed in an accident at a fertility clinic, and 3 couples went to court with wrongful death cases. Now, the judges ruled that a 152-year-old law allowing parents to sue over the death of a minor applied to all unborn children, even embryos being stored in a clinic. Well, joining me now to talk more about this is LaDawn Wellen of Faces of Fertility. So you have been advocating for better access to IVF services for years. What did you think when you heard about this court case?
I was shocked. I'm always terrified of what the ripple effect would be. I know we feel safe in Canada, but anything can happen. People were thinking that they were safe as well in Alabama, and that's ultimately proven to not be the case. So, it's really unnerving, still wanting to access fertility treatments that what the future could hold.
Yeah. And as soon as this ruling was made, fertility clinics in Alabama, they just shut down because the medical professionals are now worried about liability. They're concerned now about being sued, and they don't really know what this means going forward. And even though it is in the United States, and none of this really applies to Canada, the idea of a clinic shutting down over this, as someone who's benefited from the services and who have fought for the services, what do you think about that?
I mean, if Calgary just phoned and told me that I couldn't access my embryos anymore, I don't know what I would do. I mean, the financial impact that has on so many couples, a lot of people, it's a one-time thing. You don't have the means to do a second round of IVF. It just shattered their shot at a family for them, and that's devastating.
So you do have some embryos still in storage in Calgary, you mentioned. So this idea of considering embryos children, what do you make of that?
I mean, I can't even begin to think that people think that they're equal. When they're your embryos, they are everything to you. They mean so much, but it's not the same. They are that hope that you'll have a child, but it doesn't mean that you have one by having embryos. I can't claim 7 children on my taxes right now, even because I have 6 embryos. It's not the same. It's the first step into anti-abortion laws as well. It's just a way to control women, but we just happen to put the infertile community as a pawn in the ultimate game.
How do you think this could fuel anti-abortionists?
I mean, it's one step into saying that an abortion is murder, and it's not. It's a woman's biological choice if they want to have a child or not.
We are seeing increasingly in the United States, with the reversal of Roe versus Wade, this idea of medical professionals being exposed to more liability. Do you have any concern that this decision could reverberate here in Canada?
We always feel safe here, but with Roe versus Wade, they felt safe. We never thought that would overturn. So, I mean, anything can happen. We need to still fight to make sure it doesn't happen here. I won't really feel safe ever knowing that it's still happening in a very progressive country.
We've interviewed you so many times over the years during your fight for fertility services in this province. Can you give us a sense of how you're doing now? Because you are a mom, you were successful in your fertility journey. How are you doing with it?
It's been amazing. I mean, it took 5 years. So I have 5 years of emotion to put into this little 2-year-old right now. I cherish every moment. I'm always incredibly grateful that I've had access to fertility services, to be able to experience motherhood. I can't imagine if that wasn't an option for me. You know, this is what I've wanted for years, and I'm just, you know, living my dream.
Well, Donwellen, I'm happy to hear that motherhood is treating you so well. Thank you so much for your thoughts on this.
Thank you so much.
We're all coming together as a community to celebrate probably the most important time.
Well, still to come, Lunar New Year celebrations at the St. John's Farmers Market, ringing in the Year of the Dragon.
WR has been broadcasting since 1924 and still going strong. Watch 100 Years of Radio, Sunday at 11:30 and Monday at 7.
Well, the St. John's Farmers Market was buzzing yesterday when it hosted Lunar New Year celebrations, including traditional Chinese songs, food, and a lion dance. According to the organizers, more than 2,000 visitors stopped by to take it all in.
Welcome to the Farmers Market. Today is our Lunar New Year celebration here. when the Lunar New Year comes, we like to wash away or to scare off all the bad luck and all the misfortunes from the previous year, and to usher in a brand new year with new fortune and health and prosperity. The Year of the Dragon is one of the most sought after years, and usually there's a baby boom during the Year of the Dragon, and usually those born under the sign are natural born leaders. They're fearless, right? They like to take challenges head on, and that's how we need to look into 2024.
While the other animals are great, I am really proud to be a dragon. You know, you're fearless. You're not afraid to do anything.
Chinese New Year is a really big festival in China, so I think it's really important to have such an event at Newfoundland. This event really make everyone organized together, united together. So we're a big family. I'm feeling like home right now.
As we came to another country, so we can hold this event, like to invite all the Chinese people to come here to share this event, to like make a home here.
In China, the favorite part is back to the hometown and visit my relatives. But for now, it is a good chance to video with your relatives, and also we can receive the lucky money, you know.
We like to just share our culture. We want to bring new people in to, immerse into our diverse culture, and just to show them that we are a part of the community. We have built lives here. We are into our second and third generation descendants now. So it's quite a great time to be alive and be proud of being Chinese.
I'm glad that I get to share my culture and heritage, because believe it or not many people know what Lunar New Year is. But because of this event, we basically just share it. We let people know what it is and how they can take in the celebration too.
That's right. We welcome all people to help celebrate and help us bring in this new year, with a bang.
Associates of Alexei Navalny say the Russian opposition leader was close to being freed when he died.
Алексей Навальный мог бы сейчас, прямо сегодня, сидеть на этом месте. Это не фигура речи. Это могло и должно было произойти.
Maria Pevchek says talks for a prisoner exchange were in the final stages around mid-February. She says Navalny and 2 unnamed Americans were to be exchanged for an alleged Russian hitman in a German jail. The 47-year-old died at an Arctic penal colony 10 days ago. The outspoken critic of Vladimir Putin had been serving a sentence of 19 years on charges of extremism. Well, a top Ukrainian intelligence official is revealing what he has learned about Navalny's death. Here's part of his interview with the CBC's Margaret Evans.
Він помер саме так, як і написано. Як не дивно, але цього разу Російська Федерація дала правду. Але проблема ж в тому, як це сталося. І якщо ви маєте правильно розуміти мої слова, коли ми говоримо, що він загинув майже природнім чином, так питання в тому, як його довели до такого стану. А довели до цього його представники Російської Федерації, які тримали його в не найкращих умовах в тюрмі. І, скажімо так, перебування його в тюрмі призвело до того, що він зрештою загинув. І це абсолютно логічне завершення, бо умови в російських тюрмах всім відомі. Тож, якщо поставити питання, чи винна Російська Федерація в тому, що ця людина загинула, 100% винна.
CBC is highlighting Black changemakers from Atlantic Canada who are making a difference, inspiring others and shaping the future. This year, we are asking you to help us identify Black changemakers who are bringing positive change to your community. So, nominate someone today.
I'm from Sydney, Nova Scotia, and I'm a Black changemaker.
I'm a Black changemaker.
And I'm a Black changemaker.
Okay, so earlier we were talking about all the snow that we got today, but there's a warm-up coming, so I guess some of that's going to be melted away.
Yeah, well, this weekend, took care of a lot of the snow out there, but yeah, another mild spell coming just for a couple of days for really most of the province. Let's take a look at what's going to happen as we head into Tuesday evening and then eventually into Wednesday morning. We will see some of that milder air move in, more southerly flow, which will actually push this mild air up towards Labrador as well. Into the afternoon hours on Wednesday, we could actually be seeing some showers, or at least the potential for showers, up across a good portion of the Big Land. Northern Labrador, you'll sit this one out for now, but we'll see that shower activity as well towards southeastern portions of Labrador, Northern Peninsula, and the west coast of the island. So our temperatures, double digits, so anywhere from about 6 to 10 degrees across the island. Labrador, you're looking at really from Lab West all the way through to coastal areas of Labrador. You're looking at your temperatures between 5 to 7 degrees as your daytime highs. That is significantly warmer than it should be this time of year. In fact, some areas looking at between 15 to 20 degrees warmer than where you should be sitting. But again, Nain, you're going to sit that one out. You're going to sit at minus 13 through most of Wednesday. So into Wednesday evening and then into Thursday, the bulk or the meat and potatoes of the storm is going to move in, which is going to bring some more steady showers through the afternoon on Thursday, especially up across the west coast and then parts of Labrador as well. But there is a cold front that's going to move through, and there is a sharp change in those forecasts, in the temperatures rather, on Thursday night, especially through Lab West. We'll see that transition back to snow, and your temperatures are going to drop like a rock on Thursday evening. We'll eventually see that happen for the west coast of the island as well once that cold front moves through. But our temperatures through the day again on Thursday all across the province will be sitting above zero, anywhere from 5 to as much as 9 degrees through the day. But again, the long-range forecast showing a sharp drop in temperatures as we head into Thursday night. And you can see that just in St. John's and eastern Newfoundland alone. 6 degrees is your daytime high, minus 8 overnight. By Friday, we're looking at the potential for some flurries again, and temperatures will be back down below zero right through Saturday. Next week, again, looking at another warm-up, it looks like. But for central Newfoundland, you're looking at that drop as well, anywhere from minus 6 to minus 10 through Friday. Similar for western Newfoundland. And then up across Labrador, this is where the dramatic drops are. So we're talking about 8 degrees on Thursday, back down to minus 20, wow, and then staying into the minus teens for Friday. So definitely flash freeze potential for sure, and we're looking at that on Thursday for western Labrador as well. Temperatures into the minus 20s. So just before we leave you tonight, it has been a lot of wet snow, heavy snow, and a tree here definitely leaning over there. But Brian shared this shot with us when he was heading home from the cabin just outside of Musgrave Harbor there. Thank you so much for that photo. If you have any weather photos, you can send them to nlphotos@cbc.ca.
Ah, it's nice though. It makes like a nice archway kind of effect. Beautiful shot. And yes, my goodness, that is such a dramatic temperature change.
Yeah, these are the roller coasters that I'll be talking about over and over again, I'm sure, over the next couple of months. But yeah, incredible temperatures.
Yeah, and the 10 degrees on Wednesday for the west coast and central. Yeah. That'll be nice.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, well, that is it for us on this Monday evening. Thank you so much for joining us.